Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I'm your humble host, D-Base, and that's Talent on Loan from Kolob. This is the Mormon News Roundup, your go-to source for all things related to the LDS Church and beyond. And today I'm joined by my LDS partner in crime, Kulch. Kulch, how's it going, buddy?
It's going good, man. How are you?
Hey, it's going better than I deserve. Now, what are we doing this episode?
We're counting down the top 5 most liked Mormon TikToks of all time. These videos have taken the internet by storm. They show off creativity, humor, and classic Mormon culture.
Exactly. These are the most liked Mormon TikToks of all time, which is a little bit different than the most watched TikToks of all time.
Let's get into it.
At number 5, we have Michaela Matthews, who shared "Anytime I Meet Up with My Mormon Friends." Now, Michaela perfectly captures what happens when Mormons meet up and hang out for the evening. So it's definitely something that everyone can relate to. This is a heartwarming and hilarious portrayal of what it's like to hang out with LDS friends. So it's no wonder that this video resonated with so many people.
This video's got 830,000 likes, so let's check it out.
Excuse me, are y'all with the cult?
We're not a cult. We're an organization that promotes love.
Yeah, this is it.
Where's that from? I've seen that before.
Oh, are y'all with the cult? That's the memorable line uttered by Hank Hill in season 6 of the animated comedy series King of the Hill.
Yeah, that's right. That's where I remember it from.
Yeah, in that King of the Hill episode, Hank is pulling up on some Omegas, which are obviously cult members in his area, which are, unloading a bus. It's absolutely hilarious. Hey, let's cue that up right now.
Excuse me, are y'all with the cult?
We're not a cult. We're an organization that promotes love.
Yeah, this is it.
Do you know, are these girls even LDS?
Well, that's the thing here. She says, "Anytime I meet up with my Mormon friends," and this does have the hashtag Mormon on there, but cults, they don't look that Mormon. I don't want to judge a book by its cover because, people come in different shapes and sizes.
Yeah.
But this isn't exactly the Mormons that I was expecting, if you know what I mean.
I'm with you on that.
Yeah, that's not the kind of friends, at least those aren't the type of friends that I meet up with. Now, I don't necessarily run in her circles and I don't have those kind of outfits, that's for sure. I mean, this is in the middle of the afternoon. They're not bar hopping at New York City here. This looks like it's at an Orem mall and they're sitting outside of, a Starbucks here. It's amazing which videos get so many likes and which ones don't.
Yeah, it's crazy. And this is only 10 seconds and it's got, 800,000?
Yeah.
Nuts.
I'm producing the wrong content. If these can get 800,000 likes, and this took 10 seconds to put together with literally 2 camera shots.
Yeah, I think we all are, man.
Okay, at number 4, we have Accu Radio giving a TikTok here where we see Mormon Crickets take over a town in Nevada. It's really creepy.
It's super creepy. And this video has over, I think, 950,000 views. It shows a giant swarm of Mormon crickets who, like our pioneer ancestors, took over land that wasn't theirs without caring what the locals thought.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing what'll happen when you get 1 million Mormon crickets together. They absolutely obliterate this Nevada town. Let's check it out. Man, that's some pretty sick crickets. There's got to be hundreds of thousands or even millions of them. They're taking everything over.
Yeah, they're all over the place, climbing on houses, making nasty crunching noises when the cars run them over.
They say that crickets are a good source of protein. I don't think anybody in this town is going to be hurting for food anytime soon, or maybe they're going to eat up all the crops. What is the deal with the Mormon crickets anyway? I thought those were legendary and were just a pioneer story.
It's like a urban legend that back in the pioneer days, I can't remember what year it was, like late 1840s or something, that crickets came in and were going to eat all the crops, but then a bunch of seagulls miraculously came and ate them all up and saved the pioneers.
Yeah, there's apparently a grain of truth to that story. It's a legendary tale. I'm not seeing any particular seagulls here that are helping out this town. I mean, I don't even know how you're supposed to get rid of all of these things. I mean, you can't even drive anywhere. You're going to be crunching these little buggers up here.
I feel bad for this town.
This is getting a lot of views, though. This is this is only a 20-second TikTok with almost 1 million likes. Wow, that's crazy. All right, Culture, what's next?
At number 3, we've got a video from Bailey about Mormon marriage and nap time. This video has about 1 million likes and takes a pretty humorous look at what Mormon couples do when they get home from church. Specifically, it's taking a look at the post-church nap. And who doesn't want to take a nap when they get home from church, Divas?
Absolutely. The after-church nap is practically a sacred sacrament. Okay, here they are. They're about to get home from church. Let's see what happens. I do like that. That's but for my first question for you, Coach, where are the kids, man? What happened to the big Mormon families?
I'm gonna guess that maybe these are newlyweds, and they haven't gotten to the procreate and replenish the earth part yet.
Ah, that makes a lot of sense. Now, why are they in such a hurry to ditch the church clothes? They literally just boom took them off first thing.
Well, as we all know, not only is church uncomfortable, but the clothes that you wear to church are uncomfortable. So when you get home, you want to get out of those things as fast as possible.
Some Mormon parents force their kids to wear church clothes all Sunday long. Did you happen to do that? Did your parents make you wear your church clothes all day?
No, I guess we were one of the lucky ones. As soon as we got home, we got out of our church clothes. What about you?
For me, when I was a kid, definitely didn't wear the church clothes afterwards, unless I was trying to be extra righteous, which sometimes I would try to do. You were supposed to get extra blessings if you kept those church clothes on as long as
Mm,
possible. And it just kind of depended on what my mood was. But generally, I didn't do it, especially as I got older. But as a parent, absolutely not. As soon as I came home, boom,
no.
taking all of that stuff off, getting on the comfy clothes, watching the game, playing some video games, or doing something else.
That was a good video and definitely relatable.
I could relate.
Coming in at number 2 is Lexi8133 with a video entitled Wish I Was Joking. This one has garnered almost 2 million likes, and it's easy to see why.
Now, Lexi, she takes on one of the biggest urban legends from BYU, soaking.
Soaking.
It's a hilarious take and it's going to resonate with a lot of us.
Wait a minute, soaking? This ought to be good, but is this PG appropriate?
I'm thinking it might be NC-17, to be honest.
Okay, gotcha. But what is soaking anyway, Culch? I'm almost 50 years old and I'm not familiar with the tiki-talk hip lexicon culture that the kids use these days.
Seriously, dude, you never heard of soaking? I'm not going to explain it. Let's just watch the video.
It is 100% real, unfortunately. So, if you were lucky enough not to know what soaking is, I'm here to explain that to you today. Soaking is when you have a man who just sticks it in and essentially lets it soak. And the idea behind it is that if it's just in, but not moving back and forth, or there's no movement, it's not a sin. And if you want to take it one step further, there's a thing called jump soaking, which is where you stick it in and then you have a good friend who will either go underneath the bed or even on top and create movement, have outside forces move you. But if you're not doing it, then you're not having premarital sex, right? This happens a lot in Mormon culture, especially at BYU or just young people in general in the Mormon church who are unmarried. Once again, I really wish I was making this up. And it's pretty sad how common this is.
Man, I am so sorry that I asked, man. Is that seriously? That is some weird, wild stuff, man. Is soaking a real thing, though?
I honestly don't know. There are people that swear it is. I've never met anyone who's done it, so I can't say.
Yeah, notice that she never says, well, when I was at BYU, or this happened to me, or I had a roommate who was at Helaman Hall or Deseret Tower. There's no specifics
Yeah.
here at all that we could tie this together. I mean, it just seems like she read something online and then has made up a story here.
Yeah, and she doesn't necessarily strike me as an LDS girl. I mean, it's very possible that she used to be, and it's not currently, but I think it's just become this kind of urban legend. It's a funny story, and so it raises eyebrows when you talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, there is a tradition in the YouTube videos where the Amish talk about this thing. I have literally never heard anyone at BYU who's legitimately said that they've done this. I got 2 degrees at BYU, and I
Mhm.
worked full time or part time for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter day Saints for 24 years. The majority of that time was at BYU, and I don't know a single solitary soul who would confess to actually doing this. I think there's a lot more legend in this than there is in reality.
Yeah, it gets views. I mean, just look at how many views that she got. It makes sense that you'd make a video about it.
I'm not buying what she's selling. I really don't
Yeah.
think that this is a thing. I mean, people at BYU are very, very conservative, and
Mhm.
these sensational headlines, they just go through the internet. You watch these people with these YouTube channels, they get millions of views by talking about this. and they can't seem to tether it to reality. We don't have anyone ever who comes forward and said, yeah, that was me. I was doing that. There's no videos. There's no nothing. It's against the honor code. If you did something like that, you would literally be kicked out of BYU. It would be exceptionally rare. This is not a common practice. If it happens at all, it would be extraordinarily rare. It's not something that I put a lot of stock into.
The Las Vegas marriages that get annulled, I'll buy that from BYU students, but this, I don't think I'm buying.
Yeah, I'm not buying it.
And finally, at number 1, the most liked TikTok video of all time is by Gun Girl 2A, and it captures that all too familiar moment when Mormon missionaries knock on your front door.
What's fun about this video is that people are used to being surprised by the missionary at the door, but this kind of turns the tables and the missionaries are surprised by what they find at the door.
Yes, and this is the most liked TikTok Mormon video of all time with almost 5 million likes. And this is a great end to our top 5 countdown. And I love how the Mormon missionaries here, they're about to knock on a door, but they meet an unexpected surprise that leaves them baffled.
Yeah, they definitely get a little bit more than they bargained for with this one.
Absolutely. Let's watch it right now. And here we go.
Well, okay.
And that's it. 6 seconds. That's the most liked TikTok video of all time.
Okay.
It doesn't take much, man.
Now, what do we see on the doormat here? That's what makes the video, is the doormat that they approach up to. What's on that doormat?
Yeah, it says it's not a whorehouse. It's a whore home.
It's not a whore house. It's a whore home. I do like that sentiment. That's nice. And did you ever come across a doormat like that, Culch, when you were on your mission in the Philippines?
No, man. Like you said, I was in the Philippines. Most of the houses didn't even have doors.
Okay.
Yeah, and they don't even try to enter. That's it. They just come up to it and they just kind of give up, don't they? They don't even knock on the door.
Okay.
No. Did you ever see? There's another video that's similar to this, where 2 missionaries walk up to the door, and I think it was an LGBT related doormat, and they just took a look at it and they turned around and walked away.
As a matter of fact, I do have that video right here. It's very similar to the one that we just watched. Let's close out with this video. Yeah, that reminds me of this article that I saw recently. It was about a couple in Indiana that put out an LGBTQ friendly welcome mat to deter the Mormon missionaries from knocking on their front door. And as the elders came up, what did they see on this mat here?
Gayest place in town.
Yeah, so Jamie Faust and her wife purchased the pride-themed doormat from Target in June. The missionaries came up to it, and the doorbell camera footage shows the missionaries staring down at the doormat, and they don't even knock on the door, and the clean-cut pair, they just quickly abandon their task.
Missionary repellent, man. Perfect.
Yeah, and they really went viral for that. And the most amazing thing about it is that after this doormat, which you can buy on Target, after people realized that you could buy a doormat that would repel the Mormon missionaries, this became the #1 selling item on Target for the next couple of days.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and these are the top 5, and it kind of makes me wonder, why are these the most viral? I mean, some of them are only 6 seconds long. I don't know what I was expecting, but it wasn't necessarily doormats, crickets, and people hanging out with the King of the Hill clips. Why did these in particular go viral? I mean, what makes these so special after all?
It's a good question, man. I can understand why the soaking one would get as many views or as many likes as it did. The other ones, it seems like it's hit or miss to me. Like the crickets make sense because that's such a novel, strange thing, and they're going to get lumped in because they're called Mormon crickets. But the first one, I'm not totally sure why it got so many.
I do wonder about that. I wonder if we did a search for ex-Mormon, if the content would be more critical, because none of this was really very critical of the church. Some of it was lampooning just a little bit, talking about being in a cult. But I would expect people dressing up in their temple garments, going down slides, or a Mormon missionary supposedly baptizing girls in bikinis, which we've seen a lot of those. I would expect more salacious things to go viral. But I think that those videos are actually, they get a lot of views, but they don't get a lot of likes because it's kind of in a mean-spirited way. So these are the more harmless videos that are good fun, very, very short. That seems to be the key. Capitalizing on Mormon folklore, crickets, that's Mormon folklore. The naps after church, that's also kind of legendary tales, and also the folklore of the soaking. All of these legendary tales that people kind of have heard about, but they're trying to put the pieces together. That seems to be what people really like watching.
Yeah, and I think of those 5, the only one that really stood out to me as being made by a Mormon was the nap one. All the others, I couldn't tell. I don't think they are, but I don't know if you caught the same vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, the Mormon missionaries on the doormat, that definitely could have been a Mormon related person. I mean, you never know which one of these are actually staged or not, or whether it's
Hmm.
actually real. A lot of the videos that get the most amount of likes, we don't even know if they're authentic. But the
That's
nap time
true.
one, for me, that really resonated a lot with
Yeah.
me. That was very, very accurate. So I think a lot of Mormons are going to be liking those in particular. And I think a
Hmm.
lot of non Mormons will like the ones with the young ladies there who are dressed up to go out on the town and talking about being in a cult. And,
Yeah.
they like to see the juxtaposition, the irony of having Mormons who are supposed to be very conservative and dress modestly with these young ladies who look like they're out to go clubbing out on the town.
Hmm.
And it's kind
Hmm.
of funny because you see a juxtaposition there.
Yeah. And people seem to enjoy any sort of missionary video, where these very innocent young men are coming into contact with something mature and having a very genuine reaction to it.
People honestly love to see the Mormon missionaries defeated. It's because honestly, there's only like 1% of the United States is Mormon, and in the rest of the world, it's even much less. So a lot of what people associate with Mormons is the missionaries coming and knocking on your
Yeah.
door, and a lot of
Hmm.
people look at that as something that's extremely annoying and bothersome.
Right.
So they love to see the missionaries get defeated, not in a necessarily a mean way. You wouldn't want to see the missionaries run off by a dog or something like
No.
that. That wouldn't get a
Mm-mm.
lot of likes, but just to see
Mm-mm.
them repelled from a doormat, people love
Yeah.
those type of things because the missionaries are kind of robotic and they can be perceived
Hmm.
as annoying, and just being able to get rid of them off of your front porch, that's a victory for people, especially if they don't have to interact with them and have the uncomfortable conversations about Jesus and their soul and salvation and gold Bibles and rocks in the hat.
Totally agree.
And that's all.
Well, there you have it, folks. The top 5 most liked Mormon TikToks on the internet. Honestly, it's pretty cool to see Mormon culture being shared and enjoyed by millions of people online. And don't forget to give these creators a like and a follow if you enjoyed what you saw from them. And make sure to tell them that Colch and Divas sent you.
Yes, thanks so much for joining us on the top 5 TikTok liked videos of all time. If you enjoyed this video, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe, and turn on notifications for the Mormon News Roundup and also the Cultural Hall. And if you really enjoyed this content, please make a donation over on our Patreon site. We'd be very grateful for that. And always think celestial, and we'll see you next time.
Remember, no unhallowed hand can stop this podcast from progressing.